Okay, so I'm going to get this out of the way, forthright and utmost. I don't know a damn thing about Moon Knight. Not in the slightest. I know the personality disorder thing, and I know the memes that are not from real panels. No, I'm not that stupid. But I know Mark Spector. I know it involves the moon, and I know that one of the main reasons why he wears white is because he wants people to see the beating that he's about to lay down coming and for them to be terrified of it. It is actually one of the main reasons why the little bit I knew of that is why I made the character that I made in the comic book that I tried writing when I was at like freshman in college. Colors white. Wrote a whiteboard like Silver Surfer, gave off a white flare exhaust off of the electric board that he rode because I like that exact same reasoning. Literally, that is all that I know about Moon Knight. So, I was a little shocked, and I'm not gonna lie, had trouble looking at Ethan Hawke crushing up glass in his sandals.
Yeah, that was what a way to open the episode. And the fact that you could like hear each footstep just made it all the more uncomfortable.
Yeah, I did not like that whatsoever. And this was a lot of Disney going. You still to this day say that everything we do is the exact same. Really? You still say that? How about now? This was, man, this felt like I was watching a Netflix Marvel thing. In a weird way.
It was like that, but on a bigger budget.
Yeah, well, on a bigger budget for the most part, because oh boy, there was an exact chunk of this episode that made me go, y'all should have did a little bit more editing. But outside of that, yeah, a lot bigger budget and not being afraid to go ape shit a little bit in the people are just not going to know what's going on department. I mean, most of their shows, outside of like Loki, they've been pretty okay with hand holding and been like not going too far off the walls with what's going on.
I think
different.
This might be the first time since, and even including Guardians of the Galaxy, where Marvel really does just throw you in the deep end.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
To a certain degree, yeah. They keep it grounded. Yeah, it's, man, everything, like, in a weird sense, there's 5 minutes of plot in this entire episode, but it was still good. Because I still don't have a damn idea what's going on in the show, and I watched the whole episode and have a good idea of what happened in it.
I think that's what makes the creative decisions so compelling. So typically, as far as I know of Moon Knight, which is about as much as you, it is my understanding that Mark Spector is, the dominant personality.
That's what I thought too. Because then when they said Stephen Grant, I'm like, what the hell? I only thought Mark's, and then all of a sudden he starts saying, no, Mark. I'm like, have I been lied to for years?
I think this might be intentional. Okay. That to have the first episode introduce us to Stephen as a way to try to introduce all the weird concepts to the audience, and also to give us as little information as possible.
It was like, and I want to say it was on your Facebook today, like someone also mentioned Jake Lockley. Is that another split personality?
I believe it is. Or he's just another character in the show.
Because at this point, I don't know. This is the most off the walls that I have been. Because, like,
Yes, Jake Lockley is another
Okay.
alias.
Because it's like, this is the one where, like, Eternals. Even Eternals had, like, slight ties to, like, the Celestials, Thanos, like, small rivulets of connections to where you could go, okay, this guy's related to that. You tell a person who's a minor MCU person that does not follow jack with a side of squat about keeping that close a track of things, they're not gonna have a damn idea what's going on in this show. This one is like, we ain't got nothing. They did. I don't even know if they mentioned another Marvel property in this first episode.
If they did, it had to have been a deep cut, because this is one of those shows where outside of the Marvel logo, like you can walk into this one fresh.
Yeah, and I'm shocked. I'm like not saying shockingly okay with that. I'm shocked that they went that far. Like, there's at least always like a picture of like Thor and a poster in a kid's bedroom. There was nothing. I was like, good. We can have a thing that has nothing to do with anything else and just let it be. There's an opportunity to where, man, we got to find a way to make this thing connect. Otherwise, we can't make a show out of it. No, we can. I'm not doubting that at some point there's going to be something that tangentially connects Ethan Glasswalker to whatever's going on. But I'm okay with this being in the backwater corner of Marvel that no one talks about. And
again, kind of like Guardians. Like,
yeah,
other than Thanos, what like from that first movie was even remotely connected to the MCU?
Let's see. Outside of Thanos, not much, but like, and I could be completely wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right before Guardians come out, didn't they revamp the lineup and like put out a new comic book?
I don't know if it was that recent. There was a revamp in like 2012.
Or did they base this off or did they base that Guardians lineup off the more?
They must have based that lineup off the 2008 run.
Okay, got it. Because I thought there was something where they kind of went to, hey, we're still in the early stages and we don't want you kids to not know what's going on, kind of thing. I swore there was something with the comics, or they just based it off of that, because like the original Guardians group had like Yondu and a couple other weirdos in it, didn't it?
Oh,
like Starport
yeah.
was not a thing. Okay, all right. Anyway, back to this.
Hold on. Before we go to the episode, I do have to point one thing out. The post-credit scene from Thor: The Dark World connected to Guardians.
That is true. They did show the Collector in that. That is very true. So,
yeah, Moon Knight really is the first MCU property in which the audience is thrown into the deep end. Like, sincerely.
In a good long while. Yeah, it's yeah, there's nothing. Legit nothing. And then there's gonna be some rude like, here's 10 Easter eggs that didn't realize you paid attention over in 2 seconds of when he was waking up. But yeah, man, I am very, and we're gonna bring back up that glass thing again. I am just sitting here and I'm watching, cool, we're gonna watch Moon Knight. I'm gonna learn about this deity. We're gonna do that. And they show that and like, I don't cringe that easy. Outside of like incredibly accurate representations of bones breaking, I don't get that bad. Like bone out of skin gets me real bad. And yeah, that started there. And then all you see is Ethan Hawke just walk out of a room. And then they just cut it off there. And I'm like, wow, that's a cold open and a half. Seriously. What the hell was that? One thing, they don't do it enough. And man, the best representation of it in my entire recent memory is they do it in the Spider-Man the animated series, the long one that like ended with Peter meeting Stan Lee and going after Mary Jane in an alternate universe that got cut off because I can't remember why. They have Oscar talk, or they have Steven talking to that statue in that Spider-Man cartoon. I can't remember what it is, but he had a specific gargoyle that like once every, I don't know, 5 to 10 episodes, he would talk about just the random bullcrap that he's talking to. He would just like eat food or do whatever, and he would like web zip something to like the corner of this one specific skyscraper, and it would just be his dude that he rants to about the stupid crap he's going on his day. I would love so bad if they would just bring back that statue and have him be like, man, you would not believe what's going on with me. Like have the talk to the statue be the recap of what's going on with him. Oh, that'd be wonderful.
that would be so much fun.
And then just like, it'd be so good.
Can we just talk for a minute about how just how great Oscar Isaac is at playing like two completely different characters. Most of the episode he's Stephen Grant, the bumbling, like, you know, the bumbling, socially awkward, like tour gift shop
person. Yeah,
and like that's great, and he really kind of pulls off the you know, the physical comedy of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got Mark Spector, who's a bit more calm and collected.
Who we get to see for a grand sum total of about 45 seconds.
Yep.
Because every other time he's just out cold. And then whoever this third deity is, because it's not Mark Spector. Because is that the moon thing?
Well, I think. See, I don't know too much about Moon Knight, but I'm assuming that the Moon Knight persona has something to do with the spirit of Khonshu.
Yeah, because it's a literal, like, it's like a moon deity, isn't it? Or am I wrong?
Khonshu is an Egyptian moon god.
Moon god. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that's what that is, because it's him talking about how he wants Mark back because Steven's an idiot. So it's like, and like, man, if we get like Marvel's Disney Plus version of like Legion,
I've heard people compare this to Legion, just in how batshit it is.
Yes, it would be. And yeah, it's that's one way of putting it. But yeah, it's just the one part that I wanted to talk about, which we get all through that. One thing that I hate is the stereotype that they put in some shows like this. And like, I get it, he's a little kooky. But it's like, that dude knows that museum backward and forward and has clearly studied his entire life on Egyptian things. We're not going to let you be a tour guide, Steven, because the plot says we have to pick on you, even though you'd make us a ton of money from doing really good at your tours. That is one trope that I about want to bash my brains in every now and then when they bring it, because I'm like, that was such a 90s thing that I'm sick of seeing. But I get it. He's a little kooky. You need to have... It's kind of like it reminds me of the relationship of Ricky Gervais and Ben Stiller.
Oh, yeah.
In Night at the Museum, a little bit. Where she's just like, oh, I don't want to pay you and I don't like you. Like at the end of this, is he going to get the job? I kind of would like that, to be perfectly honest, but whatever they do.
That would be a great happy ending for him. But also, yeah. I just don't like Donna.
I don't either. And she's very much there to just be not liked. So it is what it is. I'm kind of actually wondering how much of this we're going to actually see him at his day job. Like, I legit don't even know how the format of the show is going to work. I know so little about this show.
And that's kind of refreshing to be...
It is.
To be so in the dark about a property that even on the page was never like a bestseller.
No, it was
a
one of the
bunch of
weirdos.
different writers and artists have like left their mark on the character, but he doesn't really have the same defining traits as like a Batman or a Spider-Man.
No, but he's always the person when people are like, it's Marvel's Batman. I'm like, because he's a character that roams around in the dark.
That's really just the beginning and the end of the comparison.
It's like it's not wealthy. He's not wealthy. He's clinically borderline insane with multiple personalities. I'm like, and he's possessed by an Egyptian moon god. I'm like, tell me you haven't read a Moon Knight comic without telling me you haven't read a Moon Knight comic. and he's one of those characters where it's like Pat from Two Best Friends, like anyone has watched the LP that they did when that channel was still a thing, was like they mentioned some run where like Ghost Rider's someone in Moon Knight had to do something, and the only person that Pat, who is a non like comic book reader, was like, who the fuck is Moon Knight? Like, but yeah, it's spots like this where you're gonna get people like me that like I know tangentially about him, because there's just some characters where like even if you're not a big fan, eventually through reading other comics, there's gonna be someone's gonna mention it, or you're gonna hear it, you're gonna see some picture, and he's at that level. He's not below that, where some other things were it's whatever. But yeah, it's like I couldn't tell you who a Moon Knight villain was before this, and I still don't technically know what Ethan Hawke's character's name is.
His name is
like, does he just have a first and a last name?
Arthur Harrow.
Arthur Harrow. Does he have like a name? Or is it just Arthur Harrow?
I don't know. I think he is like a character created for the series.
Really? Huh. I actually kind of like it if they do that. I'm going to be honest. Because you could have fooled me. I have no idea. But, okay. But yeah, we get a lot of... I like how how Steven is kind of showing how he's in his apartment. He's got the tape. He's got the everything to like show, hey, I didn't move, did whatever with like the sand and all that. He's trying to protect himself. And they're not like wasting half an episode to tell you, be like, this is how I got to know my multiple personalities. You're just there.
Mm-hmm.
You're just expecting you to be there and then be okay with it, which is another thing where I'm kind of like, cool. You're expecting that your audience isn't all 5-year-olds. They're kind of like, we get it. He's got multiple personalities. Stuff's weird. But anyway, so then we're going to get to the part that I didn't like. He has his first big flub up where he doesn't know where he is. And then he wakes up in that weird, I'm going to assume, backcountry, London, English country, back city.
It's got to be like some village in the countryside, out way past London.
Yeah, the problem is, I would guess that it was on a back lot, because boy, was there chunks of that you could tell was CGI.
A lot of the car chase was CGI.
That is what I was going to bring up, man, because there are parts where, you know how, and when I say this, I am nowhere near saying that their CGI is as bad as the Flash gets sometimes. You could tell, like, remember in the Flash when they would go into fast motion and you could tell it was colored differently because it was CGI?
Mm-hmm.
Like how Barry looked physically like he like dropped out of 1080p. There was some moments where like the trucks, you could tell it like switched to CGI from natural. And like when the person jumped at the back of the truck to get into the delivery truck that he was driving.
No, the worst example of that for me was that scene where like the logs like kept like crashing down.
Yeah, that was real bad too. That whole, man, like, since that car chase started was the worst of it. Like the backdrop was just not blended well. Like you could tell he was not set in it. And I think if they would have set him better, you probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But yeah, that car chase from start to finish, that was rough. And I don't know how many more car chases we're gonna have in here, but boy, do I hope there's not anymore. Because like their CGI isn't terrible. Every other thing they did with CGI in here was great. Except that.
And I don't have like a good like explanation for why it looks so not great. Because like this is Disney money they're playing with. They have the resources. Was it just crunch time? I know this one was probably filming during the pandemic, so it's possible. It's possible that's like probably one of the reasons.
All right. Let's see. It's been the last time since I've checked it. Oh wow. Oh my god. Yeah, you're right. It can't be because of the money, because they have 129 million subscribers. And everybody, that means they get 9 times that in a month if you're on like the base subscription. So I repeat, I said it during Hawkeye, they're making what they made on Avengers Endgame every other month.
Basically.
So no, it's not money. But you're right. It was probably in quarantine. They had limited whatever. It was probably a weird shot out of whatever. Because like in Hawkeye, same scheduling, same shooting, whatever. But they didn't need a lot of effects for that. So you didn't see stuff like that. So it was just crunch, other factors. It happens. And to be fair, the way that whole scene was kind of constructed to me was kind of born bred to be a bit of a nightmare. You're having a car chase with multiple vehicles swerving in and out between sequences of a guy blacking in and out going down an S-curve country road.
Yeah, that would have been a logistical nightmare no matter what.
Yeah, so I will give them a lot of credit. I just wish that the editing on like some of the action scenes were a little bit better, but like we said, it is what it is. And man, did I take a trip down memory lane when Steven finally starts figuring out what's going on, and he notices that the fin's gone on the fish, and he takes that back, and like he realizes that it's Sunday. When he goes into that cover or to that loose board and he pulls out that razor. Oh, did high school come flooding back? I had that same phone. Everyone had that damn phone. And that thing was, like, you talk about those old Nokias being tough as shit. I had one of those things go through the wash and it still worked.
Wow.
That thing was tough as shit. But yeah, and like that's another plot thread. We have no idea who was it. Sydney?
I think it was like Lindsay.
90 missed calls from her. Yeah, it's don't got a good idea what's going on there, but yeah, man, that was a lot. And then it's just like a lot of it is just him figuring stuff out. And like just the detail given to how cool Egyptian lore is, they barely tapped it.
Yeah, this was really just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like they have a cool opportunity to do something that is not like anything else they do, because Egyptian stuff is weird. Like real weird. And yeah, Also, the memory. It was so much of like not Hugh Grant, Alan Grant in Jurassic
Oh,
Park when
yeah.
he's teaching the kid about raptors. It was like him like teaching that little girl about them cracking all the organs out. Oh man.
I am a little disappointed that he isn't a tour guide and he is just like the gift shop clerk, because like his home base could be in that museum, and that's
I have a good feeling it's still gonna be. I just think that he'd have a better, I think it'd be better, what do I want to say? Line delivery options if like in the middle of a tour, like say he's telling someone about an Egyptian deity or something of that matter, and he's a very knowledgeable person on these things, and then the moon god even gives him corrections on some things that he's wrong about, and then he's, are you serious? Absolutely. Like, yeah. And again, the weird part is we have no idea if he's ever going to step foot in that museum again. That's the weird part. How many episodes is it? 6?
yep.
This is the most. I have no idea what's going on in the series they've got, and it, like we said, it's good, man. But yeah, they're whatever they go for, I'm good with, and they did such a good job of like building up whatever the balls Ethan Hawke's character Haro is, because like he looks like the messenger boy of Amit, who they described as the world's first boogeyman. That's a hell of a title.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, this show's weird.
Yeah. Final thoughts on the first episode. I am definitely into it. I like the fact that I don't really know what's going on, but for some people that might be a turn off. But for me, I was just so captivated by Oscar Isaac's performance that I pretty much immediately want to see what happens next. Now, before we get out of here, I got to ask thoughts on the suit.
Oh, I
On
love
like
it.
the actual costume.
I love it, and I also love the fact that, and again, I know nothing about Moon Knight, so this could be just the regular way he puts a suit on. I just love that when he summons Mark Spector, that the suit just it materializes on him. I love it. Like,
Yeah.
there's a hokiness to it, but it's like it's an Egyptian moon god come to life in wraps. There's gonna be a little bit of that there, but it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And the build-up shot to that is awesome. Like, he shows him being such a scared little dweeb running into that bathroom, and then when he finally lets Mark take control, you see the thing trying to escape away from him because he knows it's going to get killed. You just see him beating the shit out of that thing. It's a great shot.
Yeah, and a great way to close that episode.
Yeah, no, that was one of the first things I was sold on when I saw the pictures. I was just like, yeah, I'll be okay with that suit. And it's not even the only suit he's gonna have. Like, I knew very little about Moon Knight. I'll be honest with you right now. I knew absolutely nothing about Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight has me so fascinated.
That went from me going, huh? I don't know that much about this character. Like with Moon Knight, where it's just like, I don't know much about this character. And then that showed up in promotional art. I'm like, I don't know a damn thing about this character. That could be just one of like 17 other versions of Moon Knight that we meet. Because again, I don't know a damn thing, and I ain't looking it up for as long as this show runs because I just want to be here. Man, it's gonna be a ride. I
Mhm.
like it. I think it has one of, if not the strongest end first episode kind of like stingers of any of the Marvel Disney shows they put out.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I'm very happy. And I'm glad we're to a point in life to where this is just something that drops on Disney Plus. We used to have to hope and pray to get something like this for a movie in the 90s or early 2000s with a god awful budget and a bad, god awfully written story that was filled with nothing but yuck yuck jokes. And now it's something that's taken seriously, and I get it for a couple of bucks a month.
Before we go, there is one thing I want to point out. On Halloween, we are getting a special called Werewolf by Night, directed by Michael Giacchino, and I'm almost positive that Moon Knight will make some sort of an appearance.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
That is something to look forward to.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm up for anything of it because, like, again, I already like in this one episode more than the other thing that Oscar Isaac did for Disney. That's kind of sad, but I really do. How long is it gonna be before we get now I can't think of his name. Oh, he played Finn. I can't think of his name.
Oh, John Boyega.
John Boyega. I'm like, how long before we get Daisy Ridley and John Boyega on Marvel? How long?
Oh, that'll be a day.
That'll be a day. How long before the memes come up where they're like, wow, Marvel rescued the main trinity of the other Star Wars films? Or how about the time when we finally get a Marvel... Wait, no, I'm wrong. I almost made a horrible mistake because that's a DC property. I was about to say Adam Driver playing Sandman, but that's a totally different company. No, you know what? They should have Adam Driver be Mephisto.
Oh my god!
When he finally shows up,
And he's just like a tall lanky dweeb.
tall lanky G with a very wide chest. But all right, yeah, enough about that. I really like Moon Knight. We don't have a whole lot to talk about. I really don't. Like, outside of Haru's power, where, like, if Amit judges someone misproperly, he just offs them. He basically has Ghost Rider's penance stare. He has a version of it, kind of, which is weird.
I like to think of it as, like, a more supernatural version of Two-Face, where it's like instead of the coin deciding, it's the scales.
It's the scales. Yeah. It is a cool visual trick. It is a very cool visual. I will give them that. It's awesome. Because if they did legit make up Haru in this for the show, whoever came up with that idea, based off of this episode, he could become a total goober later on. But based off of this episode, he's great. I hope there is a reason behind the glass. That is one thing I will ask. Don't just have that be a kooky thing that he does. Put a reason behind it.
Even something as simple as, like, I can't feel under there.
Yeah, like he's trying somehow to feel pain or anything. Yeah, just have something. Because if I can't, there's one thing I can't stand more than anything is you trying to make a character look cool. So we gave him this thing that has nothing to do with anything whatsoever at all, which doesn't even have to be a big of a deal. Like you said, just like he's trying to feel pain or something like that. But all right, we are going to get on out of here. Mike, where can they reach you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterbox.com/CoachK42. And you can find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. Look for us on Podchaser and the Banana Meter. Listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mostly on Twitch. And until next time, we will see you all later.